What really happened during Kim Ji-won's mysterious vacation that set the internet ablaze with rumors? At last, the star has broken her silence, revealing the truth in a candid and heartfelt way. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive into her story and uncover the reality behind the buzz. Right now, what really happened during Kim Ji-won's mysterious vacation? The one that set the internet ablaze with speculation? For weeks, the actress known for her grace and quiet presence found herself at the center of a storm she had not asked for. A frenzy of whispers and half-truths that spiraled into something far bigger than the reality behind it. Fans had waited anxiously. Critics had sharpened their pens. And the media had constructed entire storylines out of a few blurry photos and unverified accounts. And came the moment that changed everything. Kim Ji-won finally broke her silence. To understand why her words landed with such weight, must first understand who Kim Ji-won is to her audience. From her breakout roles in The Heirs and Descendants of the Sun to her more recent triumphs in My Liberation Notes and Queen of Tears, Ji-won has built her reputation not only on her talent but also on her aura of quiet dignity. Unlike many stars who thrive on constant exposure, she has always preferred to let her work speak for her. Interviews with her are rare. Personal details even rarer. This cultivated mystery has only deepened the fascination, making every new piece of information feel precious, and every rumor feel like an earthquake. So when the whispers began about a vacation, spread like wildfire. The story was simple enough at first. Kim Ji-won, after months of filming and promotional schedules, had taken time off for a private holiday. Simplicity was precisely what fueled the gossip. Who was she with? Where exactly did she go? Why had she chosen to disappear from the public eye at such a crucial moment in her career? Questions multiplied faster than answers. Fans scoured social media for clues, posting blurry photos they claimed showed her at airports or seaside resorts. Some insisted she had been spotted with fellow actors. Others suggested she was traveling with non-celebrity friends. The lack of clarity only invited more speculation. In the echo chambers of online forums, theories blossomed into entire narratives. One camp insisted the trip was romantic, citing insider sources who claimed she had been seen dining with a mystery companion. Another group argued it was nothing more than a wellness break, chance for her to recharge away from the suffocating glare of the spotlight. International fans joined in, translating every rumor, amplifying every tweet, until the vacation had grown into a global talking point. By the second week, hashtags about Ji-won's alleged trip were trending across multiple countries. For Kim Ji-won, the silence was intentional. Those close to her describe her as someone who prefers to avoid knee-jerk reactions. When scandals erupt in the entertainment industry, stars often rush to deny or explain, sometimes only making matters worse. Ji-won chose differently. She stayed silent. The agency released no official statements, neither confirming nor denying. And so the mystery deepened. Each day of silence added fuel to the fire, until fans began to treat her lack of words as evidence itself. Was she hiding something? Was the truth too scandalous to admit? The media, of course, was relentless. Tabloids ran speculative headlines, some playful, others accusatory. One tabloid splashed her photo across the front page under the caption, "Who is with Kim Ji-won?" Another suggested she had skipped out on professional obligations to pursue her personal life, an insinuation that her fans furiously rejected. On television talk shows, pundits debated the meaning of her silence, treating it like a puzzle to be solved. Even mainstream news outlets, usually more restrained, could not resist covering the buzz, framing it as the mystery that has captured biz. What made the frenzy particularly intense was timing. Ji-won's career was at a high point. Her recent performances had earned critical acclaim, and she had become a sought-after face for endorsements. Moment when the world was celebrating her artistry, vacation rumors threatened to overshadow her achievements. For some fans, this was heartbreaking. How could such an accomplished actress be reduced to whispers about her private life? Yet for others, it was irresistible. In an industry built on fantasy, the idea of glimpsing the real Ji-won, even through rumors, was intoxicating. Behind the scenes, those who knew her remained calm. Close colleagues described her as serene, even as the storm raged online. She has always been like this, one friend reportedly said. When people talk too much, she listens quietly. When the noise gets too loud, she waits. When the time is right, she speaks. This patience only heightened the drama. If G1 was waiting, then surely what she had to say would be worth the wait. Meanwhile, fan communities split into factions. On Twitter, threads hundreds of posts long debated the logistics of her alleged trip. Some fans swore they had proof she had been in Japan, citing photos of a woman with a similar silhouette. Others claimed she had been in Europe, pointing to a luxury boutique receipt that surfaced online. Still others dismissed it all as fabrications, insisting the only truth was that G1 had taken a much-needed rest. The debates were often heated, spilling into arguments across platforms. Yet even in their disagreements, fans shared a common truth: they cared deeply about her. And the mystery mattered because she mattered. As the week stretched on, the suspense became unbearable. The narrative had grown too big, the theories too wild. Had to give. And then, almost without warning, the announcement came: Kim Ji-won would sit down for a candid interview. One that promised to address the rumors directly. It was the kind of revelation fans dream of. The kind that could silence speculation once and for all. The day of the interview arrived with the gravity of an event. Entertainment portals counted down the hours. Television segments teased the broadcast. And fans flooded comment sections with anticipation. And G1 finally appeared. She was as composed as ever, elegant, calm, quietly radiant. But there was a new edge to her presence. Readiness to speak in a way she rarely had before. The interviewer wasted no time, asking about the vacation rumors head-on. For a moment, G1 smiled, a mixture of amusement and exasperation flickering across her face. And then she began to speak. Her voice was clear, her tone firm yet gentle. She explained the truth. Yes, she had taken a vacation. But it was not the scandalous escapade the tabloids had imagined. She had traveled with close friends, seeking rest after grueling months of work. She had visited familiar places, indulged in ordinary pleasures, and allowed herself the kind of anonymity she rarely enjoyed at home. There had been no secret lover, no betrayal of contracts, no hidden drama, only the simple act of a woman taking a break. Yet what made her words resonate was not just the denial of scandal, but the vulnerability she revealed. She admitted that the rumors had hurt, not because they contained truth, but because they reduced her to a character in someone else's story. I am grateful that people are interested in me, she said softly. But sometimes I wish they could see me as a human first, not just a headline. Candor struck a chord. Fans watching live described tears welling in their eyes, moved by her honesty. On social media, messages of support poured in, drowning out the noise of speculation. We just wanted the truth, one fan wrote. And now that we have it, we love her even more. Relief was palpable, the sense of closure overwhelming. After weeks of whispers, the silence had been broken, not with scandal, but with sincerity. When Kim Ji-won's interview aired, it felt less like an entertainment segment and more like a cultural event. The entire industry, from fans to critics to advertisers, stopped to listen. In a world where silence often fuels speculation and denials are usually scripted, her candid words felt revolutionary. She did not hide behind vague agency statements or shift responsibility onto others. Instead, she sat calmly, looked her audience in the eye, and spoke the truth in her own voice. That moment, the storm that had swirled around her for weeks began to lose its force. The immediate response was overwhelming. Within minutes, hashtags such as Kim Ji-won Truth and What Trust Kim Ji-won trended worldwide. Fans across different languages translated her words in real time, ensuring that international audiences could feel the full weight of her sincerity. Online forums, once battlegrounds of rumor and speculation, transformed into spaces of celebration and relief. Posts that once argued over the details of her vacation now filled with gratitude. She didn't owe us an explanation, but she gave us one anyway. Others praised her courage for confronting the rumors directly, noting that many stars in her position would have chosen to remain silent or let their agencies issue dry press releases. Media outlets, which had once fanned the flames of speculation, shifted tone almost overnight. Lines that had once teased scandal were replaced with praise for her composure. Major newspapers ran op-eds admiring her honesty, calling her interview a masterclass in celebrity integrity. Television talk shows replayed her quotes, highlighting her statement about wanting to be seen as human before being seen as a headline. Even critics, often quick to dismiss celebrity controversies as trivial, acknowledged the significance of her approach. She had not only set the record straight but also reframed the narrative entirely. The industry impact was just as powerful. Advertisers who had been hesitant during the rumor frenzy quickly reaffirmed their partnerships with her, some even leaning into the renewed public goodwill. Brands praised her as a symbol of authenticity, aligning her honesty with their own messaging. Casting directors, too, saw the interview as proof of her strength under pressure, a quality that only increased her appeal as a leading actress. Instead of being damaged by the rumors, her reputation seemed to emerge stronger, burnished by the very storm that had threatened to undermine it. But perhaps the most profound effect was on her fans. For weeks, they had lived in a state of confusion, defending her against accusations, debating theories, and waiting anxiously for answers. Answers finally came. The relief was almost cathartic. Fan accounts posted messages like, "We knew she would handle this with grace." Others shared personal stories about how Ji-won's composure inspired them in their own lives. For some, it was not just about the vacation, it was about the reminder that truth, delivered with courage and kindness, could cut through even the loudest noise. Of course, not everyone was satisfied. A small faction of skeptics insisted that her words were carefully crafted PR, dismissing her sincerity as performance. Some tabloids continued to dig, publishing exposés that recycled old rumors. But these voices were drowned out by the overwhelming tide of support. The power of her interview lay not in silencing every critic, but in shifting the balance of the narrative. For the first time since the rumors began, the story was no longer about scandal but about her humanity. Weeks passed, the frenzy gradually subsided. The hashtags faded from trending lists, replaced by new stories and new controversies in the ever-moving world of K-entertainment. Yet the memory of Ji-won's words lingered. Fans quoted her in fan art, in captions, essays about resilience and authenticity. Scholars of media and culture pointed to her interview as a case study in how celebrities can reclaim their narrative in the digital age. What had begun as a vacation rumor had evolved into something far larger, a conversation about privacy, truth, and the relationship between stars and their audiences. Ji-won herself, the aftermath was quieter but no less meaningful. In a follow-up statement, thanked her fans for their unwavering support. Acknowledging the difficulty of addressing personal matters in public, she admitted that breaking her silence had not been easy. She had felt it was necessary to protect not only her own peace of mind, but also the trust she shared with her audience. Her gratitude was sincere, her words humble. At the end of the day, she said, "I am just a person who needed a rest. Thank you for allowing me that space. And thank you for understanding." Humility resonated deeply. It reminded people that behind the glamorous photoshoots and dazzling performances was a woman navigating the same needs as anyone else, the need to rest, to recharge, to be unseen for a while. Acknowledging this so openly, Ji-won bridged the gap between celebrity and fan, reminding everyone that admiration should never come at the cost of empathy. The cultural meaning of the saga became clear. In a society where every move of a celebrity is dissected, where privacy is often sacrificed for public consumption, Ji-won's honesty set a new standard. She proved that it is possible to address rumors without feeding them, to reclaim one's narrative without hostility, and to remain dignified even in the face of relentless speculation. Her interview became a touchstone, a reminder to both the industry and the audience that stars are not invulnerable icons but human beings deserving of respect. As the dust finally settled, one lasting image remained: Kim Ji-won stood calmly in that interview, smiling gently as she spoke the truth. It was not the scandalous reveal some tabloids had anticipated. It was not the dramatic confession that fan theorists had dreamed of. Something far more powerful, a reminder that truth itself, when spoken with grace, can be the most dramatic revelation of all. So the story closes, not with scandal but with serenity. The vacation rumors that once threatened to overshadow her achievements now stand as a footnote in a much larger narrative, one of resilience, authenticity, and strength. For her fans, the saga has only deepened their love. For the industry, it has reinforced her place as one of the most respected actresses of her generation. And for Kim Ji-won herself, reaffirmed a simple truth, that in a world of noise, honesty will always cut through. To our readers, thank you for walking this journey with Red Carpet Revealed. Thank you for sharing the suspense, curiosity, and finally, The relief of hearing her voice. In the end, truth was not shocking. Nor was it scandalous. It was something even more powerful. It was human. And that is why Kim Ji-won's words will be remembered long after the rumors have faded. Just when it seemed the storm had quieted, the story surrounding Kim Ji-won's vacation took another dramatic turn. Her candid interview had calmed many fans and silenced the loudest whispers. But in the unpredictable world of K-entertainment, peace never lasts for long. Within days, new layers of speculation began to emerge. The internet was once again ablaze with theories. A fresh wave of photos surfaced online, blurry images supposedly taken abroad, claiming to show Ji-won in the company of someone who was not mentioned in her interview. Though unverified, the timing was enough to reignite suspicion. Did she really tell the whole truth? Skeptics asked. Some tabloids ran with the narrative, suggesting that her honesty had been selective, that perhaps she had shielded certain details to protect herself or someone close to her. The effect was immediate. Fans who had just begun to breathe easy suddenly felt the sting of doubt all over again. Social media fractured into factions once more. Loyal supporters insisted the photos were fake, dismissing them as paparazzi tricks designed to drag her name back into scandal. Others urged patience, reminding the public that even if she had chosen not to reveal every detail, she was entitled to privacy. But critics grew louder, accusing her of manipulating the narrative. If she wanted to be seen as honest, commentator wrote, then why do these images tell a different story? The pressure mounted further when television talk shows began to debate the issue once more. Body language experts revisited her interview, analyzing her every smile and pause as though decoding a mystery. Was that moment of hesitation a sign of concealment? Was her carefully measured tone an indication that she was holding something back? The frenzy felt less like journalism and more like a courtroom trial. The actress as both witness and accused. For Ji-won, the renewed scrutiny was exhausting. Those close to her described her as hurt but determined not to let the noise consume her. She knows she spoke her truth. One confidant said. But in this industry, truth is never enough, it has to be entertaining. And if it isn't, people will invent new drama. That reality was perhaps the cruelest twist of all. The more sincerely she tried to explain herself, more people demanded a deeper, darker revelation. The most dramatic moment came when Ji-won appeared at a fan event just weeks later. Thousands gathered, ears thunderous as she stepped onto the stage. She smiled, waved, and tried to carry on as usual. But the tension was palpable. Would she address the fresh rumors? Would she ignore them? For a brief moment, the crowd hushed as she held the microphone. Her words were simple yet powerful. I told my story because I wanted to be honest. I have nothing more to hide. Please trust me. Sincerity in her voice moved many to tears. Clips of the moment went viral, celebrated as proof of her resilience. But predictably, some critics still twisted it, accusing her of playing the victim card. The climax of the saga highlighted the brutal paradox of fame. Silence is seen as guilt. Speaking out is seen as strategy. Truth is never enough when the audience craves drama. One had stepped into the spotlight during the rumors, to find herself at the center of an even larger narrative, one that questioned not just her vacation but her integrity. Yet through it all, one thing became undeniable. Ji-won had become more than just an actress caught in a rumor. She had become a mirror of the industry itself, its hunger for gossip, its tendency to turn ordinary lives into extraordinary dramas, ability to build and break reputations with a single headline. Climax was not about where she went on vacation or with whom. It was about the relentless cycle of speculation and the impossible expectations placed upon celebrities. And as the dust began to settle once more, fans and observers were left with a question more compelling than the rumors themselves. Would Kim Ji-won emerge from this saga diminished? Would she transform it into yet another proof of her unshakable strength? After weeks of whispers, endless headlines, storm of speculation that seemed unrelenting, remains at the heart of this story is something profoundly human. Kim Ji-won, the actress so often described as mysterious and reserved before the world, and revealed herself not as a character on screen but as a woman navigating the complexities of life under a microscope. The vacation rumors that once threatened to overshadow her career now seem almost trivial when placed beside the strength she demonstrated by speaking her truth. She reminded everyone that celebrities are not defined by speculation but by their choices, their resilience, and their humanity. Did not need to fabricate a dramatic confession or indulge the hunger for scandal. Instead, she chose sincerity, and that choice became her greatest statement. Her fans, who walked every step of this journey with her, not disillusioned but inspired. They saw in her a model of composure, someone who endured the weight of scrutiny yet remained graceful. For many, her words were more than an explanation of a vacation, they were a reminder that honesty, even in its simplest form, carries a power stronger than any rumor. The cultural meaning of her saga will linger long after the hashtags fade. In the noisy, fast-moving world of K-entertainment, where stars are expected to be flawless and endlessly entertaining, Kim Ji-won showed that imperfection, vulnerability, truth are just as captivating. She set a precedent for how celebrities can reclaim their narratives, and in doing so, earned a new kind of respect, not just as an actress, but as a person. And now, as the curtain falls on this chapter, one image remains, Kim Ji-won smiling softly, words echoing in the hearts of millions, "I have nothing more to hide. Please trust me." Those words will be remembered not as the end of a scandal, but as the beginning of a renewed bond between star and audience. To our readers, thank you for following this story with Red Carpet Revealed. Thank you for sharing the suspense, baits, and finally, the relief of hearing her voice. In the end, the rumors were never the real story. The real story was about strength, truth, and the courage to speak when silence becomes too heavy. And perhaps the greatest truth of all is this: Kim Ji-won didn't just survive the rumors, she transformed them into a testament of who she really is.